Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're back to more regular programming this week, and we're going to start things off with a World of Warships video. And one of the bigger features of patch 0.5.3, I know I'm kind of still a patch behind, yeah, I know. Things like Armored Warfare happened, and I won't dwell on that anymore. This is a very interesting replay because this is one of the first team battles I happened to find myself in the new game mode. And as you can see, I am in the tier 6 Japanese carrier, the Ryujo. And you know, it's one of those things, and I kind of queued up in this and took the carrier because why not? Let's see how it goes. Got a pretty capable team. Let's figure it out, and let's see if carriers are as I don't like to use the term useless, but in ranked battles they were kind of useless. Some of the core strengths that you would have had from bringing them into ranked battles you still have here in team battles. One is reconnaissance projection, especially right off at the beginning of a match. That is huge. Knowing what the enemy is doing before they know what your team is doing really does help your team in being able to better anticipate and plan for enemy actions. And so we're going to send our fighters forward because 1, they're faster, 2, they can defend themselves much more effectively than dive bombers or torpedo bombers, because they can engage things that shoot at them and, well, other aircraft that shoot at them. And right now have a pretty big piece of information. We have the 2 battleships that we saw, the 1 cruiser, and that rather unfortunate Soviet destroyer that got detected before going more than about 5 kilometers from his spawn point. Really unlucky there. And I say that because Soviet destroyers are, well, they're very easily spotted, so that's no surprise there, but they're very brittle ships. The turrets get blown to bits, and the modules get knocked out really fast, and while they have fairly respectable damage in the gun category, that's their only virtue, and if they keep losing those, not a good thing. But ooh, that he's kind of wishing he'd not met my dive bombers there. But anyway, some of the things to keep in mind when you're queuing up for your team battles is, yes, you can elect to either bring or not to bring a carrier in your assigned team. And if you were in ranked battles, you probably wouldn't have to worry about it because tier 8 ships can kind of handle themselves, and most people at that tier would probably prefer to roll with a Lexington rather than a Shokaku. At least that was my experience in Season 2. I didn't participate in Season 3, so maybe my information's a little out of date on that one. You can let me know in the comments if what you saw in your time out there. And this is, I know that probably not the best thing to drop on, at least drop the torpedoes onto, given the fact that, you know, he's maneuvering and everything, but at the same time it corrals him, and at the same time, you know, if my allies are, you know, making use of the opportunity that's created, well, we could have done a little more damage to him, but, you know, no loss there, right? It forced him out of position to aid his ally there at the edge of B. So, no big deal, right? We did manage to bust up the formation for a few seconds, and that can give us some time to get planes back up in the air. And again, now going back to some of those core strengths in the team battles format, you will be quite disturbed. Well, most people would be quite annoyed with the fact that in team battles, at least in my experience, There is no mirrored matchmaking for aircraft carriers, so it is entirely possible that if your team doesn't bring an aircraft carrier, the enemy teams will, and they will reap the rewards for having brought it, and you will catch the whirlwind. And nobody likes being short on the short end of the stick, right? It's just not right. Nobody likes that. So one of the things you can just do is pack a carrier. Granted, you should probably find someone who knows what they're doing. And part of that is the manual draw. Part of it is just general map awareness. And, you know, of course, the most helpful part is when they don't sit in the back like a floating airstrip. Like the carrier that an allied destroyer is spotted up at B9. And before anybody gets any really weird jokes on, we're gonna just go ahead and make this really crappy drop here just because we can break up the formation yet again. And you know, you don't have to do an excessive amount of damage in team battles because we're looking at tier 6 vessels instead of tier 8 ones, so the experience you get in kind from any given match being that percentage of damage dealt to the enemy team, you don't have to do as much to do well on any given match. Again, in part because ships of this tier just have that much less health. So, now where do I want to go with this? I've kind of covered the big things that really and truly wanted to. And oh yeah, one more thing about aircraft carriers in the team mix is that they offer a lot of tactical flexibility. Just because the planes move fairly quickly, you know, maybe they don't do the most damage because, you know, these are Japanese dive bombers and they do piddly squat in terms of damage except on very lucky hits. But at the same time, it allows us options on what do we target, when do we target it, and if one of these enemy destroyers were to dispatch torpedoes at an ally, there's much more likelihood that those nefarious objects will be detected long before they reach their intended targets, and allies will have the opportunity to change course. I know that that's kind of a foreign thing to do, and you think about is that the aircraft carrier helps the team out by doing more spotting than anything else. But at the same time, it's very true. That's kind of what we're here for in team battles, is reconnaissance. And now I've contemplated dropping on that battleship, except I was gonna pass and go on his ally behind him because he was low on health, but his AA gave my planes a bit of the bad news there, and I dropped it too soon. Oh well, we still have reserves. Yes, it's gonna be a little while before they're back up, but at the same time, I'm not really worried about it because the enemy aircraft carrier is dead, and we're still going after just about, no, not just about, but we're going after the ships that matter, being the one enemy destroyer that is capping the point over here. I'm going to see if we can reset him. None of the drops seem to be lining up, and that's just bad vectoring on my part. I admit to not having played aircraft carriers for a few days before playing this, so seeing all the lines on this one was a bit wonky for me, you know, being what it is. Yeah, it happens. I get a little rusty, especially since I don't play too many games a day anymore. But, digressing. And you know, it's just one of those, somewhere between that reconnaissance role and the fire support role. It doesn't matter whether you're looking at US carriers or Japanese carriers. They have a place in the battle, and that was rather unfortunate to lose that one aircraft on the flank of the formation, because we could have picked up that kill in all likelihood, but oh well. Allied destroyer picks that up. Oh, maybe, was that the destroyer? Oh, who cares? Kill's a kill, win's a win, right? So we did fairly well that match, picking up 104,000 credits, just a little over 1,200 experience for all of our battle actions. 104,000 credits at tier 6 isn't half bad, and I'm pretty certain I let my premium expire on this one, so yeah, that's just unmodified credit goodness. So I think this is a good way to augment a knight if you're a capable carrier captain. Just make a little extra bit in there and round out the rounds where you have to. Round out the rounds. Round out those games that you have in other ship classes where you just are not able to make the shots land or the torpedoes hit into your destroyers, whatnot. So, didn't do amazing this match because, yeah, it's been a while. I know, it's been a while. Sorry, Warships. Sorry. Apparently you can never apologize enough to this game. But, second on the team list, coming second to the destroyer that captured the A point, or solo captured it, and then went and nuked the enemy Ryujo. I guess that Ryujo just didn't load in or something? I don't know. Seems a little wonky to me. But, oh well. Win's a win, right? So, yeah, we didn't do an especially large amount of damage this match, but then again, tier 6, in an environment where you assume people know left from right, forward and backwards, and can more or less determine, oh yeah, an aircraft is likely to target me, or people are used to playing together and know to clump up when an aircraft carrier is looming their planes overhead. Yay! But that was over 50,000 damage that contributed to a victory. Because not just spotting enemies, and nuking that enemy cruiser for his one serious mistake of running aground. But we also did manage to wound those battleships a fair bit and frustrate the lives of those 2 destroyers. Would have really hoped I could have gotten some plane kills out of that, just for some fun. But, can't have them all, can you? Well, I hope that was an insightful video for you all. I know that their team battles are one of those more interesting things that has been added to World of Warships recently. I hope to get a few more games in to the game mode in the near future. It's been a little difficult, with the release of Armored Warfare patch 0.13 and the Chinese-made battle tanks and a whole bunch of other changes that were made to that game, and, just kind of playing the crap out of it because, there's something new in it. Yeah, team battles. There's a lot of room for some intricacies being played out in this particular game mode, but I'm not as excited for it. It just feels like ranked all over again. It seems like it also has the certain propensity for some of the issues that came out of ranked when I played it, but I won't dwell on those. If you happen to like this video, please consider giving it a like down below. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I hope to see you around sometime in the future. Content to come this week is another World of Warships video or two. I think I've got a nice video for War Thunder Wednesdays, and do expect some Armored Warfare videos to be liberally added to the usual queue. We'll see about the exact schedule of that. Of course, thank you for having bared with me on this. It's not really a long video, but 15 minutes is decent enough. And once again, thank you, and good day.